Before we get with Coach Gibbs here in just a minute, a quick look at the schedule for week one around CAA football. 3 games on Thursday night as we start the schedule. Towson opens the year at Norfolk State, 7 o'clock kick. That game will be televised. It was announced last week, televised nationally on ESPNU. At 7:30 p.m., Elon makes the short trip to Duke. That game on ACC Network X. And then closing out the night on the Mountain West Network, Stony Brook heads to San Diego State. That's a 10 o'clock kick. A pair of games on Friday night, including a conference opener as Campbell travels to defending champ Rhode Island. That game at 6 o'clock on Flow College. Monmouth hits the road to face Colgate, and that game at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. On Saturday, the schedule starts at 2 o'clock as William & Mary travels to Furman at 2 p.m. At 3 p.m., Hampton is at Jackson State. At 4 p.m., Maine travels to Liberty. At 4:30, North Carolina A&T visits Tennessee State. And then a pair of games at 6 o'clock as Albany heads to Iowa. That game can be seen on FS1 nationally. And UNH travels to North Carolina Central. And then rounding out the schedule at 9 p.m., Bryant visits New Mexico State. So that's the schedule around CAA football for week one. For media members who are on the line today, if you have questions for any of our coaches, just use the raise your hand icon or the chat feature, and we'll work those questions in as soon as possible. As I said, we begin this morning with the new head coach at North Carolina A&T, Shawn Gibbs. Good morning, Coach Gibbs.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Good to see you. Let's start with fall camp, which is wrapping up as you get ready for game week. How's the fall camp gone for you and your team?
It's gone good. I think we made a lot of improvement since the spring, so I've been pleased with the effort that the guys have put forth this fall so far, and I think we've gotten better.
One of the things we talked about back on Media Day and when you got hired was talking about renewing and getting the culture back to where you wanted in the A&T program. How do you feel like that's gone, and where do you feel like you are as we head to the opener?
Well, like everything else, it's a process, but I'm pleased where we're at right now. Currently, I think the guys are buying in. We've been able to bring some guys in from the past, some of the best players in school history, and give them an opportunity to talk to some of our players and let them know what being an Aggie is about. So we're getting there each and every day, just getting a little bit better.
Let's talk about your team a little bit, and we'll start on the offensive side of the ball. I know you had a battle going on for the quarterback situation. Talk about how that's gone and if you've decided on a starter going into the opening week.
Well, we're still battling. It's going to be a close to game time decision, but we feel like we have 2 quarterbacks that we feel like we can definitely win with right now, with Braxton Thomas and Champ Long. In the future, when Kevin White gets all the way healed, feel like we have 3. But those guys are still battling out. We'll make a decision a little bit later on in the week. We're going to give them a couple more days to compete for it, but both those guys are going to play.
One of the things you talked about was, stressing the running game and a physical group, a physical attack. How do you feel about that group, both running the ball and the guys up front as you get ready for the opener?
Well, I feel good about it. We've done a good job of running the football this fall camp. Now we'll see on Saturday, how we can do it against somebody else. But I think our offensive line's done a good job of coming together. They're playing 5 guys as one. Our running backs have done a really good job of running. They've worked hard, and I feel like we got about 4 guys there that can play at a high level. So I'm excited about the future of our run game.
Let's flip over a little bit to the defense. You had some holes to fill, a few guys back with some holes to fill. How do you feel like that group has come together?
Well, it's still a work in progress. I think they have made some progress, though. We've moved some guys around. We moved 3 offensive guys over to defense, and they've done a great job of adjusting and doing what we're asking them to do. So I think we're going to be okay on defense. Of course, we got to put these guys in the right position to make plays. And if we do that, I think we'll have a chance because athletically we're coming along.
Talk about maybe some of the guys, but either on the offensive or defensive side of the ball that have really caught your eye in camp, whether it's returners that have taken their game to a next level, or some guys that you brought in that maybe have made even a bigger impact than you thought?
Right. Well, Corian Sharp is a preseason all conference guy, so I'm not going to say he caught my eye, but he's done about what I expected him to do. He is an all conference, hopefully an all American type performer, as well as Aaron Harris, who's a guy that has some CAA experience and has played a lot of football around here. So both of those guys have been solid in camp. Monty Jones is a guy that has really flashed this camp and made a lot of big plays. I think he's probably been known primarily as a returner throughout his career, but he's done some things in the slot this fall that have been very, very impressive. The newcomers like JT Smith at running back, he's been impressive, and then just the steady guys like Javon Dillard, one of our wide receivers that's been around here, for a little bit now. He's had a really good camp. So it's been some guys that have flashed. So it's just going to be about consistently doing it week in and week out.
Let's talk a little bit about your opponent. You're facing a Tennessee State squad that went 9-4 last year, went to the playoffs for the first time in several years. I know they've had a coaching change with Coach George leaving, but an experienced coach coming in, Coach Barlow. As you've started to prepare for Tennessee State, what do you think about the Tigers?
Well, it's a championship program. It's probably it's no, it's not probably. It's one of the blue blood programs in HBCU football. They've had a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players, some NFL Hall of Famers. They've had the first pick in the NFL draft before, so it's a really good program. And like you said, they were a team that was co-conference champions last year and went to the playoffs. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge, and I've gone up against Coach Barlow before, when I was an assistant, but when we were at Grambling and Coach Barlow was at Alabama State, we got to play them quite a bit. So we know that they're going to be a well-coached team. They're going to play hard. And from looking at, what they had last year, we know they always have athletes. So we got to come out, we got to execute, and we got to play North Carolina A&T football because it's going to be a really good team that we're playing against.
Does it make the prep more difficult when you got a new coach, even if you've got some familiarity with him, looking at film, but knowing that there's a new set of coaches in there?
Yeah, of course. The first game I think for anybody is difficult because even if you're playing somebody that you're familiar with, everybody comes into the first game trying to be a little different and show different things, and you don't have any film to go off of. So you always have to adjust. The first game is going to be about adjustments. Who can make those critical adjustments the fastest will be the team that comes out victorious.
We're here with A&T head coach Shawn Gibbs. If you have a question for him this morning, just use the raise your hand icon or the chat feature. Coach, one of the things that is kind of neat about this trip to Nashville, you're playing in Nissan Stadium, the Tennessee Titans home stadium. How excited does that make your guys?
Well, anytime you get the opportunity to play in a professional stadium, it's exciting for the guys. So they can't wait. But like I tell them, the field dimensions are the same no matter where we go, and that's really all that matters to us. We can't get caught up in the size of the stadium or how many people are there. It's all about us handling our business on Saturday.
How about for you? You've certainly been a head coach before, but first time here at A&T. What are your kind of emotions and feelings going into week one?
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because I've spent 11 years here, and this will be my first time on the sideline as the head coach. So I'm blessed. I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I can't wait for Saturday to see what these guys are going to go out and do.
One more for me. Just talk about sort of keys to victory. Some things that your team needs to do well on both sides of the ball to come out with a win on Saturday.
Well, number one, we can't beat ourselves. So we got to make sure that we're playing sound fundamentally. Can't give them anything. Can't give them any turnovers. In game one, especially, a lot of times turnovers are the difference. So we got to make sure that we're taking care of the football. We got to establish the run offensively and have the ability to run the ball on these guys, but we can't allow them to run the ball on us. We have to limit explosives, and we have to be good on third down and in the red zone. And if we can do those things, I think we'll have a chance, not only this week, but in any game that we play. But the first and most important thing is we can't beat ourselves. And we have to make sure that we're doing a great job this week off the field with hydration because first week you see the guys out there with a lot of cramps and things like that. So we got to make sure that we're hydrating and putting the right things in our body this week so we can go out and perform on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much for doing this with us this morning. Safe travels to Nashville and